Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testes, testes. Testes.
Might even go ahead and say testicles at this point.
Testis. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Rahma in trousers. Can you hear me?
You're probably the only one who's never seen me trousers. Just because probably every time we have to meet or do something, I just decide to wear a dress or a skirt just because I feel like that day. So,
Even through uni, I don't think I ever saw you in trousers ever.
in uni, I practically mostly wore abayas because I wake up like 15 minutes before class. So there's really not much you can do there.
Hey, tips. Hey, you are just exposing yourself right now, yeah?
Yeah, rocking abayas with pajamas inside, like comfortable pants.
Are you
or
serious?
A yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Flight That's a Haraam podcast with me, your captain, Kevin.
No one's going anywhere. We have COVID.
You just couldn't let me do the skit properly, could you?
No. Guys, welcome to the podcast. My name is Rahma Ramadan, your lovely co-host.
You know what, guys? Just listen to the episode. Must be nice. I wish I could wear an abaya.
Because they're comfortable. So you just shower, change into clean pajama pants, and then rock an abaya and show up to class. And everyone else is just saying, your very nice, beautiful abaya and a black scarf that you have chosen amongst 10 other black scarves. But you show up looking nice.
So there's so much noise from like DMs and stuff. Man, why is recording a podcast with no microphone so hard, Rahma?
Don't worry, soon we'll not be having these struggles.
Yeah, exactly. And just so you know, this is the beginning of the podcast. We shall just continue and just keep it going, freestyling. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the That's a Haraam podcast with me, your lovely and very handsome Kevin Gakari.
You're stealing my thunder. You know every day that those are my lines, but anyway.
Every day.
I mean, I'm the lovely one here.
Somebody is a bit self-conceited.
I'm the lovely one here. Everyone says it, so just calm down.
Wait.
Know your position. Play your position well.
Yo, see, just chill the fuck out and just introduce yourself, man. You are talking too much, my God.
My name is Rahma Ramadan for all of those who don't know me. And by the way, there's someone who was telling me, actually, around 2 people who are telling me that all of a sudden we have started cursing on our podcast. And
all of a sudden, really? Have you been listening to our podcast? Are you sure? Especially on Rahma's mind, especially on Rahma's end. This girl is foul mouth. I'm telling you, Rahma. I keep telling you, you need to stop fucking cussing.
There you go, my curse. And me, my never cuss himself. It's fine.
Yo, who was this complaining about us cussing too much?
Listen, I can't be exposing people who have talked to me.
Are they saying it like it's a bad thing or like it's a good thing? Because I do know that we are very many halal people's guilty pleasure.
Maybe you should consider toning it down or bleeping the curse words. Something like that.
So cute. That is so cute. Whoever bleeps a podcast, damn, you're cute. But that's so much work. That is honestly so much work. Somebody actually, now here's like the funniest thing. Somebody actually told me, Kevin, you don't sound like yourself. In the beginning and the first few episodes, so it'll be, yo, you don't sound like yourself. They could tell that I was trying to hold back from like cussing and stuff like that. So I just embraced and just became my true haram self. Surprise, ladies and gentlemen, this is the That's So Haram podcast for a reason.
This is why I tell you, okay, we have halal viewers. If you feel the need to tailor or to change your language to suit our viewers, well and good. But if you don't, let them sue you, and I'm going to be here for it.
Sue me on what grounds exactly?
for using profanity.
Is that actually admissible in court?
Well, yeah, but then it depends on like the jurisdiction that covers the platforms that our podcast is on.
Anyway, yo, did you notice?
Technicalities, so no biggie.
Yeah, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we do want to apologize. We are both in. Okay, I am in the same location. Rahma is on that has gone mangaring around, so the audio might be a bit off today, but we do apologize. But let me tell you guys, there's something good coming. There's something so good coming. You guys have absolutely no idea, and we will not. We will no longer have problems of. I hope that you guys heard that, by the way.
They did, because I did hear it.
Fantastic. Yeah, so Rahma, yo, today I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking tea.
Mashallah, you're very, very today.
I actually realized that I have like 6 packets of tea bags, like the Kericho Gold flavored tea, because that used to be my guilty pleasure for a long time. Then I stopped having them. Then I'd come home and just have a double of whiskey. Then I was like, you know what? You deserve better. Your body is a temple of the Lord. So I decided to have tea today. Very nice. Very nice.
You remind me of my colleague who always says that her body is a temple. And then the next day she comes to work late. And then, of course, she was out at Jay's or something like that. So every time I hear someone saying that...
was she snorting cocaine?
No, of course she was.
How sure are you? How sure are you? You do
100% sure.
You do realize that cocaine is a very common drug nowadays.
I mean, she likes having fun, but not that kind of fun. So.
Would you know? Really? Would you know?
Yes, I would know. Trust me, I would know.
Would you know? Yo, man, again, we do want to apologize. Plus, again, let me tell you guys, we are used to recording this podcast past a few hours. So when there isn't that much noise outside, but you know, man, it is what it is. We do apologize, but we are just gonna keep powering through because we have to do this episode, man. 19 weeks in, and we've been recording every single week. I don't think there's ever a day that we've ever missed. Is there?
Sorry, say that again, because I didn't hear.
I don't think there's ever been a week that we missed.
No. That's a lot. That takes a lot, really, of commitment. I don't think guys understand how much work recording podcasts takes from the back end of things before you see the final product. So props to us. We're doing good.
Props to us. Yeah, exactly. Then we go to episode 20 where we have something fantastic planned for you guys. Episode 20, which is that's actually next weekend. That's actually next weekend. Yeah. Okay, so maybe episode 21 to 22, maybe. I don't know. But we do. Yeah. We do have a lot of things planned for this podcast. I can't believe that we have just started with that. We usually end with this, but you know what? It is good for you guys to know. It is good for you guys to know. Something happened over this weekend that I'm not sure whether Rahma would be willing for me to share the story, but just made me realize that Rahma is honestly the coolest Muslim girl I know. I'll just leave it there.
What happened? Okay, cool. Let's not get into that because I know where you're going to that. I know.
You were also curious, and then you remember that, oh shit, it's actually about me.
Yeah, it's fine. I take all the compliments. I accept them. Thank you very much for realizing how great I am.
But guys, I'm telling you, Rahma really is. Like, I know that we are used to having banter back and forth of me making fun of her or she making fun of me. But actually, did I just say she making fun of me? What the fuck? How making fun of me? Oh my god. English came with a plane. No, with a boat at the end of the day. She really is the coolest. She really is the coolest. And Rahma being the coolest Muslim girl ever, I'm going to ask her this very haram question. Let me ask you, Rahma, because I had this some time ago. I have actually been meaning to talk about this, but I don't know. We just never get along to doing it. Yo, let me ask you: would you be okay with your significant other being friends with your friends?
To an extent, yes.
Like friends, like me and you type friends.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind. No.
You wouldn't mind your boyfriend texting Kai, I don't know any of your friends. Wow, fantastic.
You
Fantastic.
don't?
Yo. Ladies, I'm sorry. The
You
names are
don't?
escaping from my head. Yo, don't
You
try and
just
make this
don't
into
know
a
their
thing.
names. I know I'm
Don't try and
judging
make
you.
this
You
into
just
a
don't know
thing.
their names. You
Oh my
know, when
God,
you
what?
talk, I listen. I don't know. I don't even understand because when I talk,
You just had to go there, didn't you?
because I'm catching feelings.
You just had to go there. It's like not people. It's like not enough people tell us that we argue like a married couple, and now here you are bringing up this topic. Really, really, really,
You
really.
know, if
I sound
if
like a
you
bitch
really
right
care
now.
about your friends, if you really care about your friends, you'd listen to what they tell you. But
Oh,
since you don't care, it's all right. It's cool. I have other
Rahma.
friends anyway, so.
Oh, Rahma. Oh my God.
So going back to
Are
your
you?
question,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear your excuse, by the way. Going back to your question, I think I
Ooh.
wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind because really, if I'm going to hang out with my friends a lot more and for a significant amount of time, then I'd want them to get along with my spouse because, or my significant other, because I'd definitely be in the same circle with my friends and my
Let me.
partner at the same time.
Nah. Let me. I don't think you've understood my question. There's getting along with your friends, and there's like being like friendly, like texting each other, like texting each other and stuff like that, calling each other at night when you are not there and stuff like that. Would you really be comfortable with that? Are you sure?
That's why I say it depends on the context and to what extent.
Are you sure?
Again, it depends on the context
Very
and to what
sure.
extent.
Are you very sure?
Yes.
Yo, I actually have a very different opinion from that, and I know I may cut some heat from this podcast because, I mean, you know, but this is our podcast, and we're able to speak freely. So I'm actually going to say, why did I have to explain that? Anyway, I am not a fan of getting really close with your significant other's friends. I'll
Explain
tell you
really
why.
close.
Unless
What is the definition
unless
of
you're
really
married.
close?
Unless you're married. Yeah. But here's the thing, yeah. Because like what are you doing? Like, let me tell you, even my boys, like my really good friends, and my boys know this. I don't get close with their girlfriends ever. I do not get close with their girlfriends. I don't even like we are cordial, yes, we are funny together. And when we're all together, like like we're hanging out, we're having fun, there's no ill blood, none whatsoever. But unless it's something really, really urgent, like official, what am I doing texting my boy's girlfriend? Unless I'm asking her something like, yo, we are planning something for Wakaba. Yes, I'm just using Wakaba as an example. Shout out to Wakaba Kili Hippie. Shout out to him, yeah. So unless I'm telling like his girlfriend, like, yo, what's up? Like we're planning something for Wakaba, would you wanna come through or something like that, Or like yo, or like maybe like she's in the field that I'm interested in. So like yo, what is about this and stuff. But I'm not gonna text you like, yo, how's your day? So how's work? Oh my God, really? That is so sad. That is so weird. I've never been that person, and honestly, I don't think I ever will be that person because I honestly believe that there need to be some boundaries between, like, there's a reason why they're friends, except for the same sex. Like, I can be friends with my girlfriend's guy friends. That's cool. That is actually no problem. But the opposite sex, I feel like there need to be some boundaries of some sort. That's just kind of person I am. People call me old school and toxic and toxically masculine. I don't know if that's the case. I tend not to believe that. But yeah, I actually don't think that you should be hanging out with your girlfriend's friends, especially female friends, because like it's just gonna bring up. There's definitely gonna be some bad blood that'll just come up. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Rahma, if you are my boy's girlfriend and me and you are not friends like that, like I'm friends with you because of your boyfriend. The hell am I doing calling you at night?
I see where you're coming from. Definitely see where you're coming from. But my response was based on how my friends and I relate. So already I know they wouldn't go beyond normal friendship, normal, hi, I'm going to talk to you because you're the partner of my friend who I care about. So obviously, I'm going to relate to you. So the way my circle is set up, no one is going to step up and be disrespectful to me and talk to someone who is my significant other in a way that would anger me or would make me feel uncomfortable. So of course, I'm talking like this because this is already something that we have talked about. The group of friends that I have, we talk about a lot of complex things. And there is, of course, an understanding, or even all of us on the same page when it comes to something like this. So me saying that I am comfortable with it is very much dependent on the relations I have with people in my circle and the mutual respect and understanding we have between each other. So in that sense, I'll be very comfortable if maybe they had his number or I had their significant other's number, because they know that I wouldn't step up and be disrespectful to them or contact their significant other in a way that would rub off them in a bad way. So really, there's nothing I need to worry about. I think it just boils down to how you relate with your friends, because some things are really not in your control, and you don't want to seem like you're controlling other people and how they relate to others. It's fine. You can talk to anyone, really. As much as you're in a relationship with me, you can talk to anyone. But the level of respect that we have between me and my friends, or between you and your friends, should really dictate the depth of the conversations that you can have with people that are in relations with them, or even the significant other, their spouses, the husband's wife, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Even just the seriousness, quote unquote, or the non-committalness of their relationship really shouldn't matter, So I think for me, it just boils down to respect. If you respect me and you respect our friendships, you will definitely watch the way you relate to someone who I'm committed to, or my significant other.
You really have so much faith in people.
No, it's not even about that. It's not even about that.
It's actually very admirable, I would say. It's actually really admirable. But I guess that's because of your Muslim background, I believe, because you guys don't really have that kind of thing. Like, what are you doing talking to somebody else's husband? That's actually extremely haram, and it's very unheard of, I believe.
Some of it really, some of it does come from the cultural perspective and the religious perspective, because I can tell you for a fact that if right now I have seen it even happen with people I know, my aunts, or even my parents. If, for example, they have a mutual friend, and maybe my mom wants to converse with, or maybe just needs something, even if it's professionally, needs something from a male friend, a male family friend, and she knows the wife, she's much more comfortable passing through the wife for her to be the intermediary to get her whatever she wants from the husband. You get what I mean? So really, that kind of communication is very much restricted, and also it's just out of respect. It's really plainly out of respect, because you don't want to seem like you're disrespecting the person, and you're disrespecting the union, and also you don't want to step on anyone's toes.
So I mean, you've said all that. It sounds very nice, but let me ask you something. Why are you trying to sue my girlfriend then, Rahma Ramadan?
Listen, it's not my problem that me and your girlfriend do get along when we see each other and when we talk on
Nah,
Snapchat, by the way.
you are making
Did
too
she
many
tell you?
moves, bro.
Did she tell you
Nah,
me and her
G.
talk on Snapchat? We also
Has he?
exchange photos. Like, hi, this is how my day is going.
Wow,
I'm
wow,
chilling.
wow,
Actually, she's
wow,
sending me the
Rahma,
cake
wow,
that she baked yesterday with her sister. So
wow, Rahma, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen,
making
you heard it
very
here
good
first.
passion.
Rahma is still my girlfriend, and that girl I really wouldn't mind.
But she's a really nice person. She's a really nice person.
We shall just leave it there. Yes, but so here's the thing: you have been seeing the news, you have been hearing about, or at least I'll say that I've been listening to the news, and I've been seeing around that the government is actually considering putting the country back on lockdown because due to the rising cases of COVID. Yeah. And I really want to hear what you think before I state what I think. Uh, or you know what, I will just say what I think. I just think that we have lost so much during this short period of time that we have been on lockdown. We've lost so much. The economy is going to take more than 10 years to get back to where we were initially. I think it would be a very dumb move on Uhuru's end if he was to lock down the country again, because people are suffering, man. People are dying. Like, I had a meeting with, and I think I mentioned this to you, yeah. A friend of mine was having a meeting with his employees, yeah. And I mean, due to the COVID situation, and his business was one of the very many businesses that were directly affected by COVID, like their sales and everything were affected by COVID. Yeah, so he had to give his employees a large pay cut, right, to be able to keep them on their payroll. He gave them a large pay cut, right. And so he was having a meeting with his employees, and he was just hearing about, and some of his employees were saying, like, honestly, man, just give us like just take us back to where we need to be, because like I'm having one meal a day. Someone is walking to and from work, and he's walking like 10, 15, 20 kilometers, even at times, yeah. And some of them are not even eating. Some of them are like they're in such dire situations. Like others, their landlords just locked their houses in the morning when they were leaving for work. They got a call when they were in the office, yeah. And all this was because of the COVID's situation and the lockdowns situation, right? So I feel like he shouldn't even dare think about closing back the economy, because honestly, I mean, and I want to say this as sensitively as possible, because I know there have been people who've really been affected by this COVID pandemic, who've lost people, and our hearts really do go out to you guys, yeah. But I feel like you really can't sacrifice us, all of us, for the how am I going to say this without sounding extremely fucking insensitive? But you can't sacrifice everybody else. Like, you've had many people say that, yo, I'd rather die of COVID than die of hunger. And that's the situation that many Kenyans are going through. Very many Kenyans. I have the liberty of working in the Juakali sector, so I'm able to meet many of these people. You are seeing people have grown skinny. People are suffering, man. And so for you to lock down the country again, I feel like that's just and guys, I'm sorry, I'm really trying to censor myself in this, especially with the whole COVID situation, because I don't want to sound insensitive, because I know people that have lost very extremely loved ones, that have lost loved ones from COVID-19. I would say this: keep wearing your masks, like keep social distancing as well, but don't close up the economy, please. Like, guys are suffering, man. Like, it's really bad, like. Rahma Ramadan, please speak
I think this is
in
one
your
of those
trousers.
situations where the government is between a rock and a hard place. Because the reason why the economy was opened up, or the business opened up again, was because of the same thing. Everyone was complaining that the guys were dying of, guys were suffering. There was no food, there was no employment, of course. Guys didn't have money. People didn't even have basic needs like food. Guys couldn't pay their bills. I remember around there were very many appeals on social media, guys being thrown out of their houses because really landlords just couldn't keep them there, because it's a cycle. Most of these landlords have taken out facilities, and they do depend on you paying the rent regularly, because almost 100% of the money that you pay goes into facilitating the loans that they've taken.
Do you mind going back to the beginning of your point? There was a bit of static in your audio.
Okay, so I was saying that in terms of the government opening, the government implementing the curfew again and the lockdown. Sorry, it was a lockdown. Yeah, implementing the lockdown again. I think it's one of the situations where the government is between a rock and a hard place, because the initial decision to open up businesses was based on the same thing. People were saying that they didn't have money. Guys, so many guys lost their jobs because, of course, businesses had to shut down. The tourism industry was practically dead. That majorly, a lot of the islands and a lot of the the Mara sides, central sides really depend on tourism. Yeah. So of course, so many people lost their jobs. People were homeless. There were a lot of appeals that I was seeing going around social media. Guys really didn't have money to even pay for rent. People were collecting foodstuffs to be able to even feed people, right? So some of these things were the reason why, and of course appeals from people like the Association of Caterers and Hoteliers, associations of bars as well, the Kenya Association of People who owns bars. Exactly. These people and the unions were also pushing for the government to open up the businesses again, because really people couldn't survive, basically, right? So I think where we went wrong is the government didn't take the time, even if it would have meant that some of these businesses, or maybe we lift the curfew much later, or maybe take even 2 weeks to strategize, to put in place like even temporary systems that would ensure that as hard as it can be, would ensure that maybe some of these things like social distancing, some of these things like figuring out even public infrastructure, public transport, figuring out how businesses would function and guys would go back to work. Even maybe as simple as set up a system where people from a particular area would go to work maybe 2 days of the week, right? And then have a kind of a shift thing, or maybe even require businesses to have internal policies on how they would have guys come back to work and work like in shifts or something. Things that to work around all of this pandemic thing, because really COVID is not going anywhere. As much as guys are not scared or have been forced to not be scared of COVID, it doesn't mean that the government should stop taking precautions to ensure that life still goes on. Because let's face it, we're a third world country. We can't say that we're shutting back everything down. We'll be right back where we started. And it will just be a vicious cycle.
Yeah, that is actually a very fantastic point. Yeah. Hello, Rahma.
Yeah.
You can hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's actually a fantastic point, because that was actually one of my points as well. You saw the UK when the COVID situation started, they chomoed 300, was it 3 or 3 billion pounds? I'm not sure how much it was, but they removed a lot of money, to pump into their economy, and all that money just came from reserves. Yeah, no loan from anybody, no loan, no bank loan, no world aid. Nah, they just chomoed 3 billion or 300 billion. I am not very sure of the amount. They removed all that money from the reserves. Does our country have reserves? I mean, even to build fucking roads, we need to borrow money. I mean, so we are not at the same level. So even when we're seeing Paris and the UK going back in lockdown, they can afford it. Like their government is paying people, like it's giving them salaries and everything. Even look at the US as well. Like they are the stimulus bills. there are the stimulus checks where some people are actually being paid $1,200 a month.
We can't. Our government cannot afford to do that.
Their government is able to do that because they have reserves, because they are fossil countries. But here we are. We have been borrowing everything. Our country was already in such a shit position even before COVID. So
now that we're here already,
even if you're going to lock us down, I mean, how are you going to feed us, man? Like, honestly,
yeah,
businesses are hurting. People have shut down the business. People have had to change their lifestyles completely 360, and why? Because people wanted to steal 46 billion. Yeah, and still here we are. Like, I actually realized something, yeah, and we are going to touch on this a little bit. I realize that us as citizens, we are not citizens. We are not, in the politicians' eyes, in our leaders' eyes, we are not citizens. We are commodities.
Of course not.
Yeah, that's the we are commodities by there. That is actually.
Why the government or the president would rush to close back down the country? Because it's the easiest thing to do. It's the easy way out. So that now we're back to the drawing board and we're just chilling. We're just chilling for the numbers to miraculously come down because now people are not moving around.
And you cannot be the same bastards talking about locking on the economy. And your motherfuckers are the same people having rallies with 3,000, 5,000 people crowding next to you. You are there speaking to them with no mask. Your security detail has no mask. Nobody has a mask. And you are the same bastards coming here to tell us, yo, you have to wear a mask. Oh, we will lock you down. Shut the fuck up. Honestly.
How about let's have them all just shift gears, sit down on a table and figure out a strategy on how everyone will be back in business, things will be back in normal, schools will be operating. First figure out a strategy on how to do this instead of just making... No. I think other people have done it. Other governments have done it. I remember even before this COVID thing, there was a conversation where different areas in Nairobi, to curb down traffic and congestion in the city, different areas in Nairobi should have different working hours. For example, maybe guys working in Westlands should have maybe a 7 to 4, and then other people to have like a 9 to 5, so that you have a different flow of traffic and you can regulate more traffic. Or even we could implement that as data, or even have people in a particular sector to purely work remotely and report to work maybe once a week or once in 2 weeks. Like, implement strict measures for their employers to completely transfer their operations online. Like some sectors, for example, if you're working in research, unless you have to be in a lab or something like that, you can do desktop research in your house, right? So some sectors like that, you can particularly operate 99% of the time wherever you are. So when I'm talking about like strategies and structures, I'm not talking about like grandiose things. No, other countries have done it. Why can't we just have everyone involved in the critical sectors sit down on a table, 1 week, 2 weeks, figure out what we're going to do as a country, instead of just having this knee-jerk short-term reactions to things and implementing short-term rules and short-term solutions, instead of actually figuring out how we're going to live with this in the next year to come.
Here's why. Because these bastards, we are gonna have that kind of a forum for 2 weeks, and all they're gonna do is just collect sitting allowance for that and eat and just dip. That's really all that they're gonna do. Because again, at the end of the day, Rahma, Ramadan, you don't realize this, but we are not citizens to their eyes. We are just commodities.
I do realize it, actually. I really do. I do.
We are simply just commodities. And speaking about commodities, we would be amiss if we don't speak about the situation that our Nigerian brothers and sisters are going through at this current moment. And that just proves my point. Now, we are just commodities, right? If for those of you who don't know, and there has been a lot of civil unrest in the country of Nigeria, which is in Africa, because of a police unit called Sars. What does Sars stand for?
Special anti-robbery squad.
Exactly. So
I think they really haven't termed it yet as a civil unrest. I think they're just talking about it as protests.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I believe that was like the best way. So maybe I, I misspoke. But there are a lot of protests in Nigeria going on because of the blatant corruption and the blatant extrajudicial killings that SARS have actually been doing, profiling people, like literally if you have dreadlocks, like they would kill you. There have been cases of them killing people and stealing their cars, like in broad daylight and stuff like that. So the Nigerian people, so actually the Nigerian youth are the ones who actually started this protest. They got tired, they got sick and tired of it, and so they have been going to the streets demanding for a disbarment of the SARS and the whole police and proper police reform. But what has happened is that now it's evolved into a social justice protest. Like they want jobs for the youth, they want an end to corruption in all and stuff like that, yeah. So we would be best if we don't talk about that, because we are praying for our brothers and sisters in Nigeria, and we do pray that their protest will not be in vain.
This conversation reminds me a lot of what Kenyans were protesting and talking about a lot earlier this year. The same things: police brutality, police reforms, the way the lack of accountability of the police bodies and policing bodies generally. And the problem of policing, especially in Africa, we have some times where certain incidences that go very viral, or a string of incidences that go viral and catch the attention of people because maybe they've been captured online, do surface. And of course, it elicits a reaction from people, right? But a lot of the issues regarding police not being held accountable, or corruption in the police, or the need for police reforms, is a debate that have been going on, I think, for decades now. It's only that a lot of the things that happen don't make it to the public. So you can imagine the gravity of the situation it has to reach right now, and the blatant disrespect and the negligence of even the police themselves, the police bosses, the government, and just the cavalier way in which all of this is being handled, for people to go onto the street and to protest about it, to a point where I saw a video of a police officer who had beaten a young person in Nigeria, saying that I have killed so and so, and there's nowhere you can take me. And he's been caught on tape saying this. So you can imagine the kind of broken structures and broken systems that they operate in, and the kind of protection of rogue officers they enjoy, for him to be able to say this in public, knowing very well that he's been captured. Really, he doesn't care,
And
and this, for him to have said this, it means that, of course, there's a higher level of clearance for him. There's a high level of protection for him to be able to say this to people and to citizens who really pay him. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I don't know why I feel like it's the same throughout the world. I mean, we have seen it in the US with George Floyd. We have seen it in Kenya with all the extrajudicial killings, with all the guys that lost their lives during the enforcement of this curfew, and now in Nigeria. Like, I think it's a common thing amongst almost all law enforcement. I feel like it's a small man syndrome, because this is someone who is just like who is not used to power, and here he has been given all the power in the world, So I mean, and like
Sometimes it also just goes on to things like the welfare of the police. For example, this is someone that has very little allowance set up or set aside for them for housing, for example. or even the salaries that they're getting paid are very, very minimal. And the conditions that they're expected to work in are very minimal. So this is not,
But
it
that
doesn't, it's
doesn't.
not to excuse, exactly, it's not to excuse their behavior, not at
That cannot.
all.
That can't excuse shooting people for no
Exactly.
reason. Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. But some of the things that have been said time and time again when you're talking about reforming the police, because even in Nigeria, what the people want is for the police to be reformed. And because of course you definitely need to listen to both sides, right? So among the things that the police, the security officials have complained about time and time again, and has contributed to why maybe they would take bribes, or why maybe corruption is rampant in the security forces, is because they're not remunerated well. So if at all we're to reform the police as one of the solutions to this problem of lack of accountability of the police, and mitigating police brutality, and them just using excessive force and taking things in their hands, we should probably implement all the recommendations that have been set up by reform commissions. In Kenya, for example, there have been a commission that was set up to discuss police reforms. There's a whole extensive report. We all know a commission is set up, they write a fantastic report by very, very able people, but really the implementation is not up to them. So it's shelved, and that's what happens, right?
It's all PR,
But
honestly.
exactly, it's all PR. It's all PR. But if you look at it, even in the case of Nigeria, there are very many people who've done research, and there are many commissions that are set up to look into police behavior. Because, as I said again, this is not a new problem. It's not a new phenomenon. It's been there. It's just that there are episodes where it's very rampant, and people probably document it more now, and the information is more accessible now, and people do it blatantly. The police officers do it blatantly now because they just really don't care, right? So we're just seeing it more now, but it doesn't mean that it's happening more frequently now, you know? So this is just very frustrating, honestly. It's very frustrating. And I was also saying that the governor of Lagos, even when people who are involved in the protests have shot videos of how police are killing people during the protest, now, like between Sunday and now, there are probably like 20 people who've been killed. I saw a report, I think on Al Jazeera, where they're talking about 20 people were killed by police during the protest. Yeah. And the Lagos governor has completely denied, even with video evidence, that people allegedly shot during the protest, you know.
Who do you think protects them when they steal all this government money? It's the police. It's them. It's the police who protect these politicians, and this is such a problem, especially in Africa. The corruption, my dear fellow Africans, corruption will end us. Corruption will end our country, our countries as we know it. Look at Kenya right now. We're basically on our knees. We are basically on our knees. That even to extend the railway, we have to borrow money to do that. Like that's where that's where we're at right now. And that's why you'll see these governors stand up and actually defend the police and say, no, they are not doing anything wrong. You know, like tell me, like I heard it in Nigeria, like what they look at is a young wealthy person, you are a target. If you are deadlocks, you are a target. If you are tight clothes, you are a target. If you have an iPhone, you are a target. They'll actually come ask you what phone. Less your phone. If you have your phone, then it means that you can't have made this money legitimately. So you have to be a thief. So they'll end you there.
This literally.
And to
This
have
sounds like
politicians
a deja vu to me.
Yeah, and to have politicians stand up and actually defend such actions, even with clear digital evidence, it just shows that it's a tit for tat kind of situation, yeah. Because when they steal money, the police are the ones there to protect them, right? Even when our politicians are arrested. It's just PR. Those guys will go and sit in the OSIS's office, not even in the cell. They will go sit in the OSIS's office, have a drink, and just relax and wait for the day to end. And then the next day they can be released from jail. I mean, it's all PR. It's all bullshit, honestly.
You know why I say this sounds like a deja vu to me? Because I've read reports where people have been killed in informal settlements in Kenya, in Nairobi even, because they look a certain way and they look like they have all of a sudden stumbled upon money, and they shouldn't be wearing clean clothes, or they shouldn't look decent, and maybe they have a good phone. So if you stay in an informal settlement and this is someone that maybe the officer has seen grow up, and maybe the person didn't have a job and now they have found a job, so they can be able to get nice clothes, they can be able to get nice shoes, they can be able to get for them a nice phone. But because this is a hungry police officer and he's seeing someone thrive, and because they're just used to doing whatever they feel like, they're just going to attack this person, and at the end of the day say that this person is a thief because they don't look like money. How does someone who doesn't look like they've worked for their money look like? I mean, some of these things are really perplexing. And they're very, they can really just get you frustrated, because why would you kill someone because you think they look like a thief? Please explain to me how a thief looks like. They look like a thief, arrest them. If you have enough evidence to arrest them, take them to court, and let the court decide if they're guilty or not, if they're a thief or not.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's a really fucked up situation, but again, you know what? We are the change that this country needs. We are the change that this Africa this continent of ours needs. Let our generation come up being better. I mean, I honestly feel like I may be speaking too hastily, but I honestly believe that tribalism is actually dying with our generation. I honestly feel like it is.
I think that's wishful thinking.
I feel like it, with our generation, that is, with our generation, you know. I honestly feel like it is. Maybe that's not the case, but I feel like our generation is going to want to end tribalism, and so we can also end some of these things like corruption and things like that. You know, it's guys, this has been a really a roller coaster of a topic. I mean, we kept talking about significant others and chilling with your friends, to the Kenyan economy, and to now ending SARS, and yeah.
You know, before we end, Kevin, I think we should talk about also what's happening in Congo. I mean, it's happened for a long time, but I think it's only getting traction now because, again, video evidence. So there's been this hashtag going on, no Congo, no phones. So the metal that is used to make phones, mobile phones, comes from mines in Congo. And the mines in Congo use children, basically children like from 3-year-olds, to do the mining and the cleaning and everything else. I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but they really literally show you how these kids dig up the mines, pick them up, wash them, the minerals, pick them up, wash them, carry bags of sand and soil so that they can be able to separate the minerals from the sand and soil. And the grown people and also police officers manning them the whole time and pushing them around, beating them if they don't meet their targets for the day. And it's actually very sad. And you know, some of the companies that have been named to buy this kind of whatever metals is like the likes of Samsung, the likes of Apple, and many other companies. But then it's so interesting that even when you know the source of these things that you're getting, these metals that you're getting to make your phones, you still go ahead and build a multi-billion-dollar company. And with blatant disregard on human rights. This is freaking child labor. I mean, I don't understand how even the government lets this happen. Of course, there's just definitely an economic reason for all of this. Everyone is getting a slice of the cake. But children, really, this is where we've come to. This is how low we've stooped.
Again, Rahma, we are just commodities. Because I'm sure the Congolese government is involved in this. I mean, they are definitely getting major
Of course.
kickbacks from it. I mean, I was actually seeing today on Twitter the hashtag Congo is bleeding, you know, and just to say this has been going on for so many years. It's just that that nice when it's actually getting some media traction, and like that's the thing. That's what I'm saying, Rahma. At the end of the day, especially with all leaders, we are all just commodities. We are all just commodities. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. We are really just commodities.
But as much as we feel hopeless at this point, I think something as simple as just social media advocacy, it really does put a lot of pressure on the people. So as much as it may seem like it's useless and it's pointless, if you can talk about it, please repost it. If you don't want to write it in your own words, there's so many people who are writing, posting about it. Talk about it, make all the noise that you can about it. And I'm very, very happy to see like musicians and entrepreneurs of Nigeria, of even other countries talking about what's happening in Nigeria and Congo.
Yeah.
And I remember when Notre Dame was on fire, it was just a freaking building, but all African presidents were there talking about it and giving their condolences to people who lost their loved ones, or even just to the government. These are freaking people who are dying, like human beings are dying in Africa. Human beings are being killed, being tortured in your country. How about we see the same solidarity there? Show the same solidarity. Commend your African president for doing the same thing that you were commending other people. When George Floyd happened, everyone jumped on the bandwagon. Where's everyone now when Africa is bleeding?
There is no solidarity, especially with African leaders. Why? Because they're all the same. They're all the same. So how am I going to condemn someone for something that I also do as well? Corruption and everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and also you will really see our African leaders speak up about it. That's why you will see the US and Europe condemn some of these leaders and stuff like that. When our own leaders can't even stand up and speak about it. It's ridiculous.
This is why bodies like African Union won't be functional and won't do substantial work, because they can't they can't stand against the actions of their own leaders.
Because they pull the same shit. They do the same shit. It is what it is. It is what it is.
So the least we can do right now, tweet, Instagram story, Instagram post about it, write it on Facebook if you're still on Facebook, wherever. Talk about this thing.
Let's.
We need to be aware of the realities that we live in, however harsh and however gruesome they can be.
We need to talk about it, just like we have talked about this on this podcast, guys. We know that this has been a slightly serious episode. We do apologize. There might be some echo and some background noise a little bit, but we have to do what we have to do to bring you guys fantastic content through and through. And you guys, because what we have planned for this podcast is honestly just ridiculous. I have really enjoyed this podcast because I feel like we've shed some light. And some people maybe did not know what's going on, and now they are. And by all means, guys, even posting on social media, that's actually, you're actually doing something, right? But if you can donate to guys like the Red Cross who are actually assisting some of these people, like do whatever you can, sign these petitions, do what you have to do. And yeah, guys, that has been episode 19 of the That's All Haraam podcast with me, Kevin Gakere.
And me, Rahma Ramadan.
For a moment, I thought that you had forgotten your name.
No, I haven't forgotten my name. But guys, much as we say it all the time, but don't forget to tag us when you're listening to the podcast, because we see you are listening, but you're just not tagging us. So do that, right? Great.
We do see you guys listening, yeah. we do see you guys listening, and we do appreciate every single feedback that we do get. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, we shall see you guys next week. We are out of the building. Take care and peace. Come flow.
How long was that?
55 minutes.
Fish, that was long.
Come flow, man. Come flow. What time are you going home, man?